Hey guys, good to see you again here on Grassroots Garden. In case you're new, I'm Ryan and this is your source for all kind of tips and tricks when it comes to gardening. But in today's video, we are going to do all kinds of cool plantings. We've got onions, we've got fall veggies. Look at all the stuff I got from the garden center yesterday. Went a little bit crazy, but we are going to have some fun today. It's beautiful. Blue skies, it's about 80 degrees. We're late fall. Let's go get our hands dirty. I brought back 10 bags of Espoma Land & Sea. This is a really good compost. I also brought down a big pile of compost that we make. We're going to combine these to hopefully just have a super rich compost blend for all these vegetables to grow in. We're going to do some yellow super sweet onions. We're going to do some white onions. I've got collards. I've got cabbage. I think we've got some more lettuces in there. All kinds of great stuff. Of course, we're going to use our biotone starter. We've got some worm casting fertilizer. Let's go check out our beds. Man, what a pretty day it is today, you guys. I'm in such a great mood. And of course, anytime I get to do any gardening, that just puts me in an even better mood. But it is absolutely beautiful today down here at the big garden. If you remember the video, these are the big, huge containers that we got out of the trash and brought them down here, and they are working really, really well. So what I did, filled each one about halfway up with our native garden soil, and then took our compost and filled it up to, what, about 6 inches from the very top. Now we're going to come in with our Land & Sea, put that on top, and then mix the two together, and that should give us a great growing media. So I'm gonna go over here to the truck and start toting some bags over there, and then I don't know exactly what we're gonna plant where, but we'll figure that out in just a minute. One bag for you. And last one. Boom. Well, look here, our raised bed has even got a custom GoPro mount. And of course, I forgot my pliers. It has my, and where'd you guys go? Now they're falling down on the job. This custom GoPro mount, it's not working out like it's supposed to. Crap. All right, let's try this again. Y'all were falling down on the job, and I forgot my knife. So we're just gonna have to rip these packages open. And again, this is Espoma. Now that I ripped the package all to pieces, Espoma Land & Sea. I've had really good results growing in this compost mix. We sell a lot of it down at the nursery, and it's just really, really good compost. So I think this mixed in with ours, we're gonna get some fantastic results. All right, let's see here. Where did I put my onions? And just because this is the one I picked up first, we're going to grow from onion sets this year. It's actually the only way I've ever grown onions. I want to try some seeds. As a matter of fact, I ordered some today. But from sets, basically what this is, a farmer or somebody somewhere has grown these onions from seed and just harvest them prematurely to take that work out of the equation for us. Just makes it a lot easier. We don't have to worry about those little bitty baby seedlings, and these are already, 2 months into the growing process. So again, we're late fall. We're going to plant them now, very similar to the garlic. Once we get them in the ground, we'll probably get a little bit of green growth, and then we just want them to chill out for the rest of the winter. When spring rolls around, that's when we're going to shoot some fertilizer to them and watch those bulbs really get big and juicy, and then we can take them and use them in the kitchen, and we can try to store them too. These, I guess another thing that's very important about onions is finding the correct onion for your grow environment. So onions, they are very dependent upon daylight length, day. Okay, let me try that again. What I'm trying to say is that onions are very dependent upon the amount of sunlight hours that they get during their growing period. So I'll put a map up on the screen right now. You can see up north, they grow a lot of long day onions. And then you have an intermediate zone, which we're in, And then you have a short day onion, which is for the folks even farther south. Now we could do a short day or an intermediate. These particular ones here happen to be an intermediate. The white and the yellows that we're planting today are an intermediate onion. So once you find the right grow zone, that dictates what variety of onion you can grow. So I think what I'm going to do, just to make it easier and I don't get them all planted on top of each other, I'm going to smooth out my soil real good, and I'm going to draw me some lines in it, just like we'll start here, and then we'll go over about 8 inches to a foot, and then we'll go and draw us even another line, another 8 inches or so from that. Trying to get my lines somewhat straight. Again, about 8 inches to a foot apart in the rows, and then we're going to plant our onions about 4 inches apart from one another. And very important, I want to make sure, just like with the garlic, we plant a pointy end up. And we're going to plant these about 1.5 inches deep. So about 4 inches apart, 1.5 inches deep. And something else kind of cool that I recently was researching, the size of the onion bulb differs from the whole thing we learned about garlic. So we actually prefer the smaller sets over the larger onion sets because, you know, especially since we're planting in fall, this guy's a little bit more ahead of this little guy, obviously. And so he'll be more prone to bolting or flowering and trying to seed out. Whereas this guy's got a good bit more growing to do. So that's kind of one of the advantages of buying, you know, smaller onion sets like that big old mamma jamma in there. I'd be kind of worried that it might try to go to flower a little bit soon on us. We don't have to worry about it too much with smaller onion sets. So kind of reverse to the garlic. With the garlic, you prefer a larger clove, but that's complete opposite when it comes to onions. I need some more onions. These are gonna be so good in the kitchen, y'all. Can't wait till next late spring or early summer. We're able to come down here and harvest these big old onions and take them to the kitchen. Man, what you talking about? And here you can see, y'all, we've got each one of our little rows planted. Now, very important, we're gonna add a little bit of the biotone starter. And when I say a little bit, I mean just very sparingly. Is that right? Yeah, sparingly. I almost said sparsely. Sparingly. A little bit of biotone. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. Because we don't want to encourage a tremendous amount of growth right now due to the fact that we want these guys to get rooted in a little bit before the first frost, but we don't want them growing tremendously because then we might get a winter kill. What we're going to do is give them a little bit of fertilizer just to get them established. Then next spring, that's when we're going to come in and really hit them with probably some garden tone and some worm castings to really promote that bulb growth so we get big old fat juicy onions. So we're just going to give just a very light dusting. This is really just to inoculate the soil with all that beneficial bacteria and fungi, just to get them down and introduce them to the soil so that our soil will be super healthy. And that's all I'm going to put right there, y'all. Then we can just simply come in, cover them over, and they can go ahead and start getting themselves rooted in, and then they can chill out for the remainder of the winter. Chill out. You see what I did there? I'm killing it today. And now, before I forget, I got these really cool tags off of Amazon, and I'll put a description to anything that I use in this video. I'll put a link in the description below, as I was trying to say. Got these cool garden markers. And so what you do, you just write whatever you planted on this tag here, and then it has this little protective cover that goes on the outside of it. I think that's the right date. And now I can remember what I planted. Now we're going to come over here and do the same thing with our yellow sweet onions. And that's another thing too. Usually your intermediate and short day onions are sweeter, whereas your long day onions that they can grow up north, they're not as sweet, but they will store longer. So let's reach for our knife again that we don't have. I tell you what, those little pliers that I use, man, those things, I don't know why I didn't put them on this morning. They usually go on my belt, but I forgot them. Anyway, I use those things more than any tool in this whole world. Love them. Let's see, we only have 20 of the yellow sweet sets. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll do 5 per row. Let's see if they really gave us 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, didn't cheat us. Check these out, guys. I can't wait for these to get big and use them in the kitchen, man. What you talking about? And we'll plant these just like we did the white onions, pointy end up, about 1.5 inches deep. And we'll do these little 6 inches apart, just to give them, since we have the room, we might as well use it and give them more room to make us some nice big old bulbs. Hey, we got 1 extra in that pack, but that's kind of screw my my rows up now. We'll just come down here on one of these long rows and just plant an extra one. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, right here. Boom. Now we've got our yellow onions planted, y'all. We're going to do the exact same thing. Very lightly hit it with some biotone and cover it up, and we're good to go. Now let's get them covered up and they can do their thing. I like these little stakes, y'all. Pretty cheap and work easy. Also, if you grow onions a lot, put your comments down below. I'm curious what varieties you grow and from what part of the country you're from. I appreciate it. I'm always interested in what you guys are growing, and I love to get your comments. All right, we got our white onions, our yellow onions planted, and I don't even remember what in the world I brought home yesterday. We've got early cabbage, also got some late cabbage, turnip greens, so I think we're just gonna go after it and plant whatever we want in this third bin here. Dang, y'all, I reach for my knife every single time. Why in the world I didn't put that thing on this morning? Let's see, in this bin, y'all, let's go ahead, before I mix the layers of compost together, let's go ahead and add our biotone and our worm castings, because we do want to go ahead and shoot the juice to these veggies so they can go ahead and start growing real fast and get up and big where we can eat them. This will be a good way to go ahead and incorporate all the fertilizers and the beneficial microbes so we don't have to double work ourselves. We'll just go ahead and mix it all in right now. Now we'll go ahead and give us a nice dusting of worm castings. So these raised beds are going to be all organic because we're just using compost, and then of course the Espoma products. The biotone is organic, and obviously worm castings are organic too. And we'll just come in here and sprinkle. I'm not really measuring, just trying to get a good coating on this top layer. And then I'm going to take and mix it all together, and we should have a kick butt planting mix right here. Oh yeah, that looks pretty. Get it all nice and leveled out, and then let's see what we've got in this tray. This is gonna be collards, southern collards. Let's just do all collards. I think I got enough to do all collards in here. That'll make Dad happy because he's growing a bunch over there in the big garden. But then come here in a few weeks when these things get some size to them and our cabbage gets going, I'm gonna make a cool video for you guys of us making collard kraut. Dad and I didn't make any last year, and I want some. I know he wants to make it, and then most importantly, I really want to document us making it together just for the memory and so I don't forget the recipe. Let's see, that should be about right. And I'm not gonna do any rows. Let's see, we got 16 of them. So we could do, had a brain fart for a minute. 4 rows of 4. I knew that. I don't want to hear any of y'all's nonsense, okay? Sometimes we have brain farts. I swear, I think somebody messed up at the nursery, because that looks like a mustard green to me. That's a collard. So I think we're going to get rid of that guy. It's just going to mess up my spacing a little bit. So I'm just going to scoot this first row over a little bit like so. Golly, it feels good out here today, you guys. I love being barefoot in the fall. I really hope these collards do good. I think they're gonna, with this conglomeration of different compost, and you know, we add beneficial microbes to our compost. I'm sure that Espoma does, and then with the biotone, I know they do. Should be killer, but killer in a good way. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'll show you guys how I'm planting these. Yeah, I got these old yellow leaves. You can just get those off, but look at that nice white healthy hair roots that this thing has. It should take off, but you also see how it's kind of flopped over a little bit. So what I do, of course, is first dig you a nice hole. We don't want to plant them too deep. We really don't want to cover up that trunk right there. But we can just put a little bit of soil up against it and pack it a little bit just to keep it upright so it is not flopping over. That right there should be just fine. Look at there, guys. I like it, man. That looks good. That thing is going to be just slap full of collard greens here, hopefully in just a few weeks. Man, I got my compost a little too thick in this one, but we're just going to go with it. I think in this container, we're going to do early cabbage. I've never done late cabbage. I've always done early, and we did okay with it last year. So thought about putting early and late in the same container, but cabbage gets pretty dang big. So I think we're just going to do one variety, and we'll do the early in this bed here. And we'll go ahead and do the same thing as we did on the last one. Go ahead and add our biotone. And also our worm castings from our friends up at Earthen Organics. They're up in the upstate of South Carolina. Got a really cool worm farm. They sell the castings, and they also make a really nice potting soil blend too. We'll get all this mixed together. And we'll be ready to plant us some early cabbage, y'all. And I'm just gonna imagine some big old heads of cabbage and try to space them out just like I'm seeing them in my head right now. They're about volleyball size. So however many we can get in here, we're about to find out. I think just 6 and 4, so 10 early cabbage going in here. We got to give them room to grow, because these guys get pretty sizable. Hopefully we're gonna have us our own cabbage patch. Dang, I needed one more before I walked over here. Dang, I feel good about that, guys. They already look pretty and healthy with the soil. We're gonna water everything in a minute too, but I feel really good about this. Hey, I didn't reach for my knife that time. And it's the last raised bed that we got, guys. That is not good because I still got a bunch more veggies that I want to plant. So that's gonna be all the more reason for us to just keep bringing these big old, we got a bunch more of these big old tubs I want to bring them down, keep going up the side of the garden. And it's all the more reason for you to hit that like and subscribe down there now, so that when we do come and plant the rest of them, you guys can join us. Love this land and sea, guys. Espoma is not a sponsor of this channel, although they certainly can be with as much money as I spend on their products. But I just really like it. And customer feedback down at the garden center has been great. This has got lobster and crab meal, or shell. Is it meal? Anyway, lobster and crab stuff in it, which provides calcium, but it's also just got a good nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium enrichment to it. Plus it's got the bacteria, the beneficial bacteria. It's just good stuff, is what I'm trying to say. And Espoma makes the land and sea, and they also are the creators and inventors of the biotone. And I don't plant anything, whether it be in my yard, containers, what have you. I don't plant anything without this biotone. I learned about it from a couple of old gardeners, and then once I started using it, I saw the difference, started studying about soil science, you know, and all the importance of the beneficial microbes, and it's made me hands down a believer in using this anytime I plant anything. And there's just a little bit left. I like these big old bags because I use a lot of it, but you can buy it in little medium-sized bags, as well as just like little individual planting size for like 1 or 2 shrub bags, but it sure does work. And we can't forget our worm castings. This is gonna make the plants super happy right here, y'all. Now the question is, what are we gonna plant in it? What we got left? How about some broccoli? Because I love to steam up broccoli in the kitchen. Melt me a big old bowl full of Velveeta cheese. Pour it over them things. Man, that is good eating right there. I don't care who you are. And I'm just gonna kind of experiment a little bit, and we're just gonna fill. Oh man, y'all forgot to tell me to mix up all of my stuff. Dang, y'all, tighten up. Sorry guys, I'll come back to you in a minute. We gotta mix all this goodness into the soil so we can get us some big old heads of broccoli. Okay, now we can fill it up. And I'm just gonna start out here, kind of close to the edge, and we're just gonna fill this dude up. Last one, folks, and we got us a tub full of broccoli. Check that out. Man, I just love these tubs. I can't wait to see them slap full of vegetables. That is gonna be so cool. I forgot how to spell it. That's right, ain't it? I think so. Get our protective cover on there. You're good to go. All right, now I gotta get my mess cleaned up. Let's go grab the hose and get everything watered in. Look at there, guys. I'm proud of us. Oh, I forgot to get these out, but what I was gonna show you, look at our soft neck garlic popping up. Isn't that cool? All right, I got our water on now. So we're just gonna lightly water in everybody now. Get them all nice and nestled in, and they can start the growing process. And as far as the onions, we just wanna get them rooted in again. Everything else, we want it to go ahead and take on off and get ready for eating size. It's kind of hard to hold the camera and this water hose, and being barefoot might not have been the best idea in hindsight, because that water's pretty dang cold. Get our collards watered in real good, because they were kind of thirsty. And since we're right here, go ahead and give the garlic a little drink. All right, we got everybody watered in their new homes here. Everybody should be happy with all that compost and fertilizer. And speaking of happy, man, today's a good day to be alive. It's just something about gardening, just recharges my soul. It's like hitting reset for me, and I love it. And something else that I love is you guys. And I really appreciate y'all, man. We just hit 9,000 subscribers, which is absolutely amazing, but it's all because of you. And so for that, I certainly do thank you. Thank you for all your support. Thanks for always hanging out with me and dropping me comments. It just means the world to me. I really do appreciate you. And as always, the more you know, the more you grow. We'll see you on the next video. Thanks, y'all.